Hello, hello, everyone. I didn't know if anyone was going to come on a Saturday afternoon. Hello, you guys, I just got back from a date. So that's good. Good progress. If this is your first time, we are on day 29, lesson 29 of Calling in the One. It's 7 weeks to watching football. 7 weeks to attract the love of our life. And so we got 20 more days to go. 20 more days to go. So lesson 29, making commitments, definitely something I get to work on. And I don't ever remember having commitment issues before, but for sure I feel it now. Maybe it must be a single thing. Hi. Oh, awesome. Good. Yes. What's your name? I don't know what your name is. Sam? Anyways, we are on a journey to find the love of our life. Yes, I'm single. And I was given this book from a friend of mine, and I work with a mentor. I coach, but I also have my own coach, and he's all about me being on the video. So this was a stretch, and I think I've gotten a little bit more comfortable doing it since the beginning. So we're having fun, and I don't know, people I think are getting value. So share this with your friends that are single. Share if you guys have a community of single people, because you just never know. This might help them, especially today, because we're going over commitments. Commitments. Yay. Love commitments. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to describe myself. This is how my friend describes me. She says, Bethany, it's like you're a 5-year-old and you want love so badly and you can't wait to get on this ride at Disneyland, this new ride, and it's so exciting. Yet you get to Disneyland, you get in line, and you're so excited, you're almost there, and then finally you're there. It's time for you to get on the ride, and you freak out, and you're in this panic mode, and you're freaking out, and then pretty soon the park closes. Let's go to Disneyland, right? So, yeah, so I get to overcome whatever that fear is, which is definitely right here in commitment land. And it definitely stems from, that's my daughter in a nutshell. I'm pretty old, actually. I'm 34. I'm 34. Been married, been divorced, and I think that's the fear, is I don't want to make mistakes again. Not that it was a mistake, because we all know all mistakes, anything that was challenging really was an opportunity for lessons and growth. I'm a growth-seeking being. Thank you. So, today, let's get started. I can still, that's right. She's 7. Why did I get divorced? Well, there's a few reasons. I should have listened to my intuition. I did the best I knew how, but I met him at 21. So we were together 8 years. We were only married 2.5, but yeah, it ended. He said he wanted out, and I was completely caught off guard. I was finally at the point where I was ready to have kids, and I hadn't really been before then, and then he wanted out, and I was super confused, super lost, and I ended up paying to go to counseling. Actually, that came up when I was reading this chapter, because she talks about, at some point, she talks about this, that she had never fought for herself, and I felt like he didn't fight for me, and I fought for him. But anyways, it was such a powerful experience, the whole divorce process, and such a learning lesson, and supported me in really growing, and I probably never would have moved to LA. I'm so happy to be here from Portland, Oregon. I love all my Portland people. But yeah, it's a complete learning process, and he definitely didn't fight for me at all. I believe that he fought in his own way, but that his own way was not communicating. There was not communication, and so looking back at my lessons with him, is we had a ton of fun. We had so much fun. But there wasn't this depth. There wasn't this deeper level of connection. And so if we want to talk about all the voids we've been talking about in the previous chapters, there was a void for him that wasn't being filled. So I wasn't fulfilling that because there wasn't depth. There wasn't depth. There was fun. We were going on vacations like every other weekend to different friends, and yeah, good times. But you can have fun and have depth, and that's what I get to acquire. So, yeah, it's good that you're talking. Being with one person your whole life is usually, well, I don't know. I believe that it's possible to be in the one, have one. I mean, we've been going through all this. We were talking about prearranged marriages earlier, and they last and they're in love because they basically spend their whole lifetime getting to know each other. So it is possible. I just think for some people it's not something that they want. Yeah, if it's not something you want, then it's not something you want. For me, I believe that it's possible. So it's just whatever you see that is best for you. And I know everyone's going to have different opinions. And like I always say, there's not a right or a wrong. You get to be neutral about that and just know that whatever your journey is perfect for you. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So there's all sorts of stories. So getting into the chapter, it starts off with 39-year-old Donna, who has never been in a committed relationship. Yet she complains that she's always meeting unavailable people. So we've discussed this. Yes, we've discussed this previously. But once she realizes how we're, basically, if we're attracting people that aren't available, we aren't available. Duh. I mean, that's just it. That's the mirror. So once she took responsibility for her reluctance to surrender fully to another problem. That's me. That's totally my issue right there. Surrender. Surrender is so difficult. I mean, it's so easy when it's right. It's the right person. Okay. So once she took responsibility for her reluctance to surrender to another person, she met Anthony, a 49-year-old widower who appeared to be looking for the new part of his life, a new relationship. And so they dated. She was amazed. He seemed super available. And then she reached over one day during dinner and she says, hey, I would love to, yes. So Donna tells Anthony, I would love to be off the market, only dating you, commit myself to you. He said no. He said no. He said that he felt that they were amazing friends and he wanted to be friends with her for the rest of his life, but didn't want to date. So, like I said, there's no right or wrong. So she, instead of getting butthurt about this, had a complete breakthrough after, let's say, a few seconds, a few minutes. So first she went into the reaction mode of, it is Halloween. Okay. She went into the reaction mode of being hurt and rejected. But after a few minutes, she had a complete breakthrough and she said, thank you. Thank you for creating the space where I felt comfortable enough to offer myself to you. Because I've never done that in my whole entire life. So she was really proud of herself. She was really proud of herself and that she took a step and she was open to being in a committed relationship with someone. So that's actually that's probably step 2 or 3. So they're still friends today. Within a year she was engaged and life went on. But many people have this paralyzing fear of making commitments. And so it's important for us to look at ourselves. Like, are we commitment phobic people? In general, I think a lot of people are. I mean, I'm in California. My plates are still Oregon. I haven't fully committed to California, but I'm loving every minute here. So, yeah, I have commitment issues. Oh, well, I don't know. That's not in the question. And I think that how many dates before you put out, that's up to you individually, and not knowing what should be done. Not going by society, but honoring your own personal truth. So when you feel that it's right inside, then you can open the space for that. But if you feel forced, if you feel it's like what you're supposed to do and you aren't really ready, then I don't think it should be done. I've gone to see, I don't know if you guys have heard of Pat Allen. She's hilarious. She is, I don't know what trolling means. I don't get what trolling means. But I've seen Pat Allen, and she talks about definitely not having sex until you're in a committed relationship. And that works for me. That definitely works for me. I don't have any issues with that. I do know people that are waiting for marriage. It still happens. It still exists. And sure, casual sex can be okay for some people. It's not okay for me. It doesn't work. Not my program. So it's just, you got to honor your own truth. You got to honor your own truth. So, yeah. Okay. So what she talks about is that we have this checklist of all these things, like he needs to look like this, she needs to look like this, she needs to have a great job, own a house. Oh my gosh, one of my guy friends was going on a date, and before he got on a date, they had a conversation on the phone, and she goes, so do you own a house? And that was the question. And he, like, even if he, actually he does own a house, but even if he owned a house here, he owns a house somewhere else, like, no, he was immediately like, bye, we're not going on a date. Like, so people have these checklists that they want. And the bottom line is, when you fall in love with somebody, sure, maybe they do meet your checklist, maybe. But over time, they aren't going to meet your checklist. Over time, it's about a deeper love. It's about the unconditional love aspect. And true love, true love must transcend our limited views of love. For true love stands in its own category. Ooh, there you go. Boom. So, moving on, she talks about this guy who's almost 40 years old. He has a hard time making commitments. I swear that's so many men here. I mean, me too. Okay, stop. Stage 5 clinger. Okay. So, he's almost 40. He's single. He's having trouble making commitments. He's completely engaged in whatever emotion he seems to be having. So, to me, that's a drama queen. And he is always wanting to explore, being in the state of adventure. And he thinks he's like living the best life, but deep down, he is so lonely. He is so lonely. And I have guy friends like this that are talking about how they just can't wait to meet the one and get married and all this stuff. And then sure enough, like, and they're so lonely, and they completely come across as lonely. But when they're coming across that lonely, like, to me, it's desperation. It's desperation, and they aren't even willing to do any of the work to meet the one. And no, I'm not interested in them at all. It's a turnoff. It's a turnoff. Their loneliness is a complete turnoff to me. How about that? So this guy, he lives in sadness and loneliness, and he's frustrated, but he's having fun and always on an adventure. So it's about moving past that, being vulnerable, getting to, oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys watched my thing from last night. It was kind of goofy, but we had a huge breakthrough. And unconditional love is when, which we've talked about in this book, is when someone loves you for you. They love all your faults. They love all the beauty, or faults, right? So if we're always meeting our mirror, we must first learn to love our faults as well. And when we love ourselves unconditionally, and all the things that we don't like about ourselves, when we shift that and can love ourselves, this gets to be one of my new YouTube videos. When we can shift this and be completely in love with ourselves, faults and all, that is when we are ready to meet somebody that is also secure and whole. And yes, like, how powerful is that? Tap the heart if that was powerful for you. To me, that was so powerful, because it's like, yeah, we want to meet someone that loves us inside and out, right? But yet, so many of us don't love ourselves inside and out. I mean, I love myself, but there's things that drive me nuts about myself. And I get to love that. How can I not love that and expect some other dude to like it? Come on. So that was really powerful for me. That was like a big aha. So many of us resist making commitments because we fear that we will be overcome by the vastness of promises that we make, as though we might disappear and lose ourselves completely. We know what happens to people who stay in the middle of the road. They get run down. They get run down. So rather than being in a state of fear We get to develop healthy habits and abilities, limits that make us feel comfortable. A quote that I put on Instagram recently was something of the sort like, the river doesn't run free without the structure of the sides of the river holding it in. So we have to create structure in our lives to be free. So if you are wanting to be in a relationship, where can you create boundaries for yourself where you still feel safe and comfortable to go there? And in keeping our options open, because we're fear of missing out of the one, we may land nowhere, and we may belong to no one. And that park at Disneyland is going to close, from what I was saying earlier. The park closes. So, if you don't have your mate in your life, then commit yourself. Ooh, I love this. If you don't have your mate in your life yet, then commit yourself to an idea, a path, a cause, a community. And I love that, because I'm committed to my startup, and I rarely feel lonely. I'm really fortunate. I'm blessed with many amazing friends. But yeah, my startup, it is a cause. It is a path. It is creating a community. It's huge for me. And so that takes away from me feeling lonely. And I know it's up to amazing things. So as a single person, what she says is here we go. The more one forgoes himself by giving himself to a cause to serve another person to love, the more human he is, and the more he actualizes himself, which creates the ability to blossom and then attract the bee. Good stuff. I'm like swinging my, okay, I'm going to put that down. Okay. Oh, goodness. She also touches that most of us have become so unrelated to the people around us that we're blind to how our actions do and do not affect them. We're so not connected. I mean, in my YouTube videos, I talk about how people don't even make eye contact. It's hard to talk to people and just make straight eye contact and see the depth of someone. So many people are like this, like, oh, squirrel, you know? And so it's really about connecting and going to that deeper place and being vulnerable and loving yourself and standing in such a powerful place that you can do that. Yes, eye contact. Okay. Here we go. I've seen it demonstrated time and time again, first in my own life and then in the lives of others, that everything of substance you will ever have to offer to anyone else in this lifetime begins with a commitment that you make to yourself. So, you get to commit to yourself. You get to love. I'm looking. You get to commit to yourself. You get to love up on yourself, faults and all. The beauty of it all. Commitment is the matter from which miracles are made from. Ha. Perfect. You can talk. Did I write this book? No, we're going over Catherine Woodward Thomas, Calling in the One, 7 Weeks to Attract the Love of Our Life. And what's amazing is she's friends I didn't know with another friend of mine that just released a book last week, Lewis House. And so I wrote her on Facebook, and she said she loves what I'm up to, and she's going to share it with her audience. Amazing. Amazing. I thought that was so cool. I was so excited. Okay, finishing up. The most promising of possibilities can easily disappear and slip right through our fingers simply because we were too cautious or too fearful to surrender ourselves fully to the fulfillment of their potential. You saw that? Yeah, I know. I was so excited. I don't know if I haven't been pinged in anything, so I don't know if she did say anything yet. But, yeah, surrender. We get to surrender. We get to love ourselves and be the light that attracts others. So here's another quote from Rumi. She always has Rumi in here. If I love myself, I love you. If I love you, I love myself. So it's just complete love. Love. Period. Love, period. Nice job. Thank you. Yeah. And when we're in this place of wholeness and completeness, like life, we're in flow. Life just flows. Like obstacles, it's like we're on a glacier riding down the mountain, and every little obstacle is like nothing. Absolutely nothing. It doesn't bother us. It doesn't it doesn't give us a reaction. We're just complete and whole. And that's the place to be in when you want to be in that relationship with your soulmate, with the man or woman. I love you because I love me. Yeah. Yeah. So the homework for today, journaling, which I definitely get to do, is what are my commitments to myself? What are my commitments to God, as I understand God? I mean, we've talked about this before. What are my commitments to others? Which, if any, of my commitments have become obligatory and outdated and should be renegotiated and or released? What new commitments can I make to help expand my sense of connection and belonging to the world? So we get to look at what commitments we have made, honor those, renegotiate them if we need to. Totally, yep. Yep. And I've met both. And then for the bonus, always a bonus, take at least one action today that stretches you to go beyond business as usual. So that might be for Halloween. It might be born out of a commitment that you've made to others. It might be out of a compliment. It might be to volunteer. What is my next step to finding the right relationship? Well, I'm dating, so that's good. I wasn't really dating before because I'm a workaholic on my startup. So now I created this space and I go on dates. And sometimes I've also realized the first dates are not good. And then the second dates are amazing. It's so weird. Do I like him? Well, I'm dating multiple people. Or dating meaning going on dates. Don't get any ideas. Oh, here's another thing for the bonus in action. Tell at least one person all of the things that I'm committed to, or you are committed to, in your life today. So to you guys, I am committed to finding my soulmate, and that's why I'm actively dating, putting myself on the market like I didn't before, and I'm super committed to my startup. So those are my two babies. And then I have my art, but that's a thing that people like my art and then they buy it. It's more of a hobby, but I have some galleries that I'm about to be in, so I'm excited about that. Or some shows. So my baby is my startup. I want a baby, a real one. And to do that, I'd like to have one guy, one man, and yeah, I get to find him. And it gets to be mutually supportive. Art could lead to my next relationship. How? Well, I mean, yeah, just going out to anything, I suppose, could. Easily. Okay. Curious where you're going with that. I know that there are art shows. So when I have my show, there's usually a big gathering of people. So yeah, being social. Not going to meet anyone working at home all day. Yeah? Yeah, I've heard there's like a huge show in Florida. A huge art show. How long am I going to date? I don't know. Till I feel really connected, supportive, feel the joy, the love. Don't we just know? Don't we just know when it's right? I don't know. You guys will definitely know, though. You guys will definitely know. So, okay, that's today. So tomorrow is lesson 30. I can't believe we've done this 30 times. Tomorrow is a case for selfishness. Ooh, I like it. A case for selfishness. In all the training that I'm doing and coaching, or I've done, and in my coaching, it's all about owning yourself, that self-worth, taking a stand for yourself. Just stay single. I promise that I'm going to finish this book regardless of me being in a relationship. I get to finish it because it's supportive of me being a whole and complete person. Not that I'm not going to need any support after this. I'm always growth seeking, always working on myself. And this is just one aspect of it. And I like the work. I like going deep. I like uncovering stuff, and maybe something new comes up for me. You know, like with the divorce and being fought for, like that came up for me today. And yeah, that drove me nuts. And for a while, and one of my good friends confronted me on it. I was like, look, I want a guy that wants to fight for me, because I didn't have that on with my ex. And he's like, Bethany, you don't want a guy to fight for you right out of the gates. You want him to fight for you over the long term. And I'm like, oh, right, yeah. So I was bringing a story from a past relationship into a future one and creating a whole ordeal out of it. And it's like, yeah, why should someone fight for me now? You're going to get to fight for me in the long term. So always seeking and uncovering things that are going to support my growth. And hopefully this is supporting you. So share with your people the message if it's going to help you as well, or help them, because you never know. It might be just what someone needed to hear. And yeah, I want you guys to have an amazing Halloween. Yeah, I like it. Where are you located? Where are you located? I need to meet some art PR people here in LA. I've met one. I know one. In fact, she put me in like 3 shows, which was awesome. Bay Area. Nice. Nice. Like it up there. Cool. Well, yeah. You guys have an amazing Halloween. I have a costume. I don't know. I have like 4 different invites to go to. It's my least favorite holiday. Oregon. I'm from Oregon. Yeah. I'm from Portland, Oregon. So yeah. I'm going to sign off. I hope you guys have an amazing day, holiday. Connect with people, make eye contact. And let's look at our commitment issues, our commitment phobes.